So you have your objective written down, which is to find the volume of prisms and cylinders. And this lesson is all about finding volumes of prisms and cylinders. So Jeremy, what is this shape?
What's it?
The one right here. Top. What type of prism?
Rectangular.
Yep. Rectangular prism. I'll erase that so it looks a little nicer. I tried to write it all on one page. So rectangular prism. Next one up. Let's go over here, Fluffy. How do you find the area of this base? What is the shape of the base first?
A rectangle.
And how do we find the area of a rectangle?
The base times height.
Yep. And so in this base right here, your base and height are what? So in the red one on here, that's the base of your figure. What are the two numbers associated with it?
Oh, 4 and 5.
4 and 5. So 5 centimeters times 4 centimeters, which gives me 20 centimeters squared. Okay, and Cozy, you're up next. What's the height of this figure?
10 centimeters.
10 centimeters. Remember, the height is what joins the two bases. Okay, we're over here. Brandon, what is the perimeter of the base?
4 plus 5 plus 4 plus 5.
Yep, 4 plus 5 plus 4 plus 5. Which gives me what? 18 centimeters. Excellent. Okay, over here. Nice job, everybody who just did that part. We're over here with what is this solid's name? Let's go to Mikhail. It's a cylinder. Bree, how do we find the base area of a circle? What's the area of a circle?
Pi radius squared.
Yep. Okay, what is the radius in this case?
5.
5. So we have 5 feet squared. Do you have a calculator? So 5 times 5 is going to give me 25 pi feet squared. And so your goal is to give me an approximation of what 25 times pi is.
78.5.
78.5 feet squared. Nice job. Okay, I'm going to change colors because I know we're writing really close together down here. We're going over here. Alicia, what is the height of this figure? 7 feet. Okay, let's go back here. This one's a little trickier. Jaden, do you remember how to find the circumference of a circle? We've used this one a little less. Exactly right. 2 pi r. So in this case, it's 2 pi. What's your radius? 5. Okay. 5 times 2 is 10 pi feet. What's 10 times pi? Give me 1 second before you tell me. 10 pi feet. I'm going to write this answer in orange so you can see it a little bit more. And I'm moving it up. So equals here. And what number did you get? 31.4 feet. And remember, circumference is perimeter of a circle, so it's not squared. So our first definition is volume. Volume is the number of cubic units needed to fill a container. We can write it as cubic inches, cubic meters, cubic centimeters, cubic feet. So any of those, feet cubed, the 3 now. So previously we had like a line, and that was one-dimensional. So it was just 1 unit, so feet, centimeters. We had area, you had 2 dimensions, so that became squared. And now you have 3, so it's cubic. So you have the 3. Real life examples, how much soda is in a can or bottle.
16 ounces.
How much water is in a swimming pool.
130,000.
I have no idea. And then other cases are like, you need this to figure out how much water you need to flush a toilet. Most toilets are about 5-gallon tanks, right? So if you don't have 5 gallons, your toilet won't flush. So these are real life uses of this other than not wanting to be cheated when you buy stuff. Prisms. Is a solid figure with 2 polygons on its bases. That was our whole first half of this chapter. It was all about prisms, remember? Formed with the rectangular sides. And then you have the volume of the prism, which is the area of the base times the height. Remember that area of the base is represented by that big B. And then height of the figure, the height that joins the two bases. And this is just a nice programming note. The rectangular prism, the base is what it sits on. That's just a general thing that we can use. Obviously, you can use other ones, but that keeps it very clear cut. So here we have the the volume of a prism. What's the formula for volume of a prism? Last page. V, area of the base times our height. So we want to calculate the area of the base. So B equals Remember, the base in a rectangle is what it's sitting on. So that's this right here. So what is the area of that base? What's the area of that rectangle?
60.
60, because it's 6 inches times 10 inches. Mario is correct, which gives you 60 inches squared. Okay, so Gabby, what's the height? Do you have a calculator? Okay. So we want you to find the volume, Gabby, of this shape. So volume is going to be, I chose purple again. Let's try a different color. B equals, it's going to be 60 inches squared times 9 inches, which gives me what value?
540.
No, it's okay. You can pass it to your buddy. You want to pass it to him? To her?
Huh?
You want to pass that to her? 540?
Passed it.
So 540 inches cubed. Okay, now we're at Bree. Bree, what shape is the base?
Huh?
What's the shape is the base of this prism?
We on 2.
We're on 2.
The base is 13.
So what shape is it?
Oh, I'm on a rectangle.
So the rectangular is the side. What's the base? The two things that are parallel to each other, conjoined by the rectangles. What are those? What shape's this?
Oh, triangle.
It's a triangle. How do you find the area of a triangle? Area of a triangle?
Is it 1/2 something?
1/2
Base height.
base times height.
Base height.
Okay, so what's your base in this triangle?
The base is 14.
14. And what's the height of the triangle?
9.
9. Okay, so 9 goes, or 4, 1/2 of 14, let's do it that way. 1/2 of 14 is 7. 7 times 9 is?
No, it was not 89. No, 80.
7 times 9? 63. So 63 centimeters squared. Okay, so Alex, what is the height of this shape? Or this prism? So the whole thing here, what's our height?
13 centimeters.
13 centimeters. So to find our volume, we have 63 centimeters squared times 13 centimeters. And what did you get there? 819. Oh, I wrote centimeters twice, sorry. 819 centimeters cubed. Okay, next up. Dylan, I don't think we've done your table. We did the first two, but not. Oh, we didn't do Reggie yet either, have we? I'm sorry? No, yeah, I'm getting there. We're going to connect here.
Oh, how do you know which one?
So, number 3. Reggie, what shape is the base of this? So, the sides are rectangles. What are the base?
Oh, it's a triangle.
It's a triangle. So, you see we have a triangle here. So, Bree just told us this, but what is the formula for area of a triangle?
Half base times height.
Okay, how do you find 1/2 base times height? Give me 1 second, I'll write this different. B times H. Okay, what is your base of this triangle? It's 5. And this one's a little different because the height of the triangle, being an obtuse triangle, is outside. So what is the height of this triangle? 6. Okay, so we have 5 times 6 times 1/2.
15.
Gives you 15, yep, centimeters squared. Okay, Dylan, it's up to you. What is the height of this figure?
12.
So-
Hold on. Which one we on?
We're on number 3.
Oh, number 3. Ooh.
So what's the height?
6.
No.
That right?
Thing that joins the two bases is the height. So the thing that joins the two triangles.
Well, hold up. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, Dylan, watch my screen. What is the height?
Oh, that's 15.
Yes, it's the thing that joins the two bases.
Oh.
So 15 centimeters. So you're going to finish this up for us. Volume equals base times height. Base is 15 centimeters squared times your height of 15 centimeters. 15 times 15.
220.
220.
It is not 220.
Hold up, 225.
225.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
centimeters cubed.
Centimeters cubed, yeah.
Okay, next up, Ashanti. Ashanti, you ready? So, what is the shape of its base?
Rectangular prism.
It's a rectangular prism. How do you find the area of the base? What's the formula for area of a rectangle? Area of a rectangle. You know the area of a rectangle.
I ain't even get to finish the
Review. I don't know what.
Okay, so what is it? Area of a rectangle. Base times height.
So like.
Okay, so Shanti, you have your rectangle down here.
Why you put B equals BH?
So area of the base equals base times height. So that big B is area of the base,
Why you
and a rectangle is base times height.
why you put B equals BH at the top?
Right here?
Hmm?
'Cause-
No. For number one.
I don't see where you're at, hon.
Number one. It says B equals BH.
Yeah, so this means volume equals area of the base times the height. Now over here we're trying to find the area of the base. So that's the formula I gave you on the last page, was the volume formula. Volume equals area of the base times the height. And now we have to find the area of the base. So Shanti, what are the base and height of this rectangle that's I highlighted in brown? 15 and? So what's this length? 20. So it's 15 times 20. What's 15 times 20? Yep, 300 inches squared. Okay, so now we're going to go over to Malik. Malik, what is the height of this figure? It's 12. Okay, and then now we want to do our volume equation, which is that 300 inches squared times 12 inches. What's 300 times 12, Malik? 3,600 inches cubed. Okay, Lanaya, you're up after we do our next slide, okay? So we have another type of prism is a cylinder. A cylinder is a 3D shape with a circular base. So we talked about this as like a can. And then the type of, or the volume of a cylinder is area of the base times the height. Same formula. Same formula, but now we plugged in what the area of a circle is. Right here. So we just substitute that in. You know inside a cylinder, this is your radius. And this is your height. And this is your radius. And this is your height. Volume of a cylinder. What's the formula, Anaya?
V equals pi r squared h.
Okay. So in this one, we have volume equals pi. And what is your r?
8.
8. Imagine there's a centimeters with it. And then what's your height?
12 centimeters.
Okay. So we end up with 64 centimeters squared times 12 centimeters times pi. What is 64 times pi? I mean, no, 64 times 12.
Oh, 768.
768 times pi, centimeters cubed. So what's 768 times pi?
2,412.7.
And 12. We'll leave it at 12, and we'll go centimeters cubed. Nice job. Okay, next up, we'll go back over here to Jeremy. So, Jeremy, what is the formula? So, I'll actually just write it. Volume equals pi r squared h. So, what is your r in this case?
9.
So, you have 9 inches squared. What's your height? 18 inches. I will do the math there. So, you end up with 81 inches squared times 18 inches times pi. What's 81 times 18? 1458. And then you're going to times that by pi.
$45.80.4.
4580.4.
Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah.
Okay, and then it's going to be inches cubed. Okay, Fluffy, you're up. Okay, So this one takes one more step. So you have the diameter. From the diameter, how do you find the radius? So we're gonna So how do you find the radius from the diameter?
Divide by 2.
Okay, so our radius is gonna be
10.
Yep, 10 inches. Okay, so over here we now have our volume equals pi. You told me my radius is 10 inches squared. What's my height? Imagine that's in inches. We'll make it 11 inches. Oh, whoops, I told you it. I'm sorry, 11 inches. Okay, so we end up with 100 inches squared times 11 inches times pi. What's 11 times 100? 1100 pi inches cubed. So what is 1100 times pi?
3454.
Like this?
I don't know. I can't think of it.
Oh, okay. It's 3454, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Inches cubed. Okay, so the volume of a cylinder is 2,452 centimeters cubed, and the radius is 8 centimeters. Find the height of the cylinder. So what is the height, or the formula for volume of a cylinder? I almost said Dylan again. Sorry, Dylan. No, I'll go over here. Brandon.
Pi r squared times height.
Yep, pi r squared times height. We know two parts of this. Which parts do we know? Same to you, Brandon.
The volume and the base.
Okay, so what is the volume?
2,411.52.
Okay, and it tells us in the problem to use pi 3.14. So we're substituting 3.14. And then what is the radius of your base?
8 centimeters.
Squared times my height. Okay, so Mikhail, you have your calculator? Okay, so why don't you borrow a calculator from Bree or Brandon? Okay, so you have 8 squared, which is
64.
times 3.14. To 1.06, like this. Centimeters cubed, or centimeters squared, times my height. And then I have 2411.52. I'm going to rewrite this over here in a different color. I'm going to move it up here so you can see it. So you have 2411.52 equals 201.06 times h. How do I get h by itself? Mikhail, how did you get h by itself? I see you.
Dang.
What does that say?
Would you like me to write it a little clearer, guys? It ran out of space.
Right, I mean, multiply.
Why?
So I'll write it one more time, and we're going to divide it. So you end up here, you have 2411.52 equals 201.06. That's going to be centimeters cubed times my height. And she just told us we're going to divide by 201.06. Okay, so Bree, what do you get when you divide by that? $11.9. Okay, and that's just going to be in centimeters because it's just a height. Okay, next up, you could have put 12. I'd be okay with that. Alicia, you ready? Okay, so this goes back to our first part of our notes. How do you find the volume of a rectangular prism? Yep, area at the base times the height. V equals capital B times H. Okay, so this one says the volume of a rectangular prism is 616 feet cubed and the height of the prism is 11 feet. What is the area of the base? There's an A left off. Well, area of the base is just as capital B. If I wanted to get B by itself, how do I do that? What am I dividing? Yep, we're dividing H to the other side. So you now have B equals V over H. What's your V? Yep. Yep. feet cubed all over your height, which is 11 feet. Okay, so let's go, Mario. What did you get when you divided 616 divided by 11? 56 feet squared.